Welcome back, senior devs. Sean Cannon here. In this lesson, we're going to talk about failure and success. Before we talk about anything else, I want to make sure we're on the same page with failure. Failure is not something that we want to only embrace, but something to also look forward to. It's a hard concept to grasp, especially since this course is titled Succeed in Software, not Fail in Software. Failure is how we grow. Earlier in the experience module, we talked about how you can learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to suffer through them yourself. That applies here as well. You don't need to be the one failing. You can be on a team that fails or a part of a company that fails. The underlying moment of realization that the outcome did not align with the intent is all you need to recall. The amount of emotion associated with that moment will directly coincide with how vividly and easily you can recall it and grow from it. If a coworker casually tells you over lunch to avoid using a library because it sucks, there's a good chance that you won't remember that in 6 months if you're in a position to choose the library among others. You may vaguely recall the library being mentioned, but you may not remember the context and you may end up repeating your coworker's mistake. So knowing that success will help you validate something and failure will help you grow, we want to apply this mindset to our career where we fail behind the scenes and succeed in public. Let's use the opposite scenario as an analogy to make it more obvious. Imagine when we worked on our side projects, everything worked just fine the first time we tried it, and in our actual job and our paying project, we made disastrous choices and nothing worked out how we wanted it to. We wouldn't last very long at our company, right? It would be embarrassing, and we would be the dev that our colleagues would reference when telling stories of terrible devs in their network. So flipping back to our goals, what we want is to deliver as much success as possible in our job and fail as much as we can in our own projects so that we can still learn and grow. Our employers and clients pay us to deliver working code and to offer sound advice. This has to come from a place of experience. We can't use our client project as a place to try new things unless our client hands us the new thing and we're upfront with them that this will be our first time working on it. Earlier in the Jack of all trades, master of some module, we talked about creating some hello world stuff with tools you don't normally use. This is exactly why we want to do that, so that when it comes time to be paid to implement it, we know just enough to tell our client, okay, that's fine, we can work with this, or I've had some bad experiences with this in the past, we may want to consider other options. A much more common example of failure in our line of work is a simple mistake, a typo in the code, or a botched conflict merge, or something where we broke something we didn't mean to, and it created some pain for another team. When that happens, we own it, apologize, fix it, and communicate with the other team during the process so they know that you care about their time. When it's fixed, verify it for the other team and prove to them that it's fixed, and odds are they'll remember you working with them to resolve the issue much more than that you were the one who broke it in the first place. When things break on a project, don't be a public complainer and don't throw people under the bus for breaking things. You'll create this image that you're not only infallible and can do no wrong, but also that you're somehow entitled to have a perfect system in place for you to do your job. Nobody typically wants to work with that person, and if you ever accidentally break something, you'll look so much worse to the team because you've been the one complaining about imperfections, and now you're part of the problem, so you're just like everybody else. When things break, point out that the problem is likely the process, not the person. Say things like, we should look into getting our test coverage up to 100% so we can catch these issues before they're deployed, or should we look into requiring an additional reviewer on pull requests? Just make it known that you're there to help, not to judge. So what about success? In our last module, we talked about helping to find and fix bugs quickly. Well, what if the bug is caused by another dev? If it's just a typo and an honest mistake, I don't even bring it up. Refer to everything I just talked about over the past few minutes. If it was a logical bug, I'd like to comment in the dev's shared channel of our chat application or something like, hey team, just a heads up, when working with the user data on the profiles page, we can't assume that the user has these particular fields in their profile because those are populated through another flow and the user may not have done that yet. So we just need to account for an incomplete profile or we'll get bugs like ticket 123. Notice I didn't tag the author because I don't want to embarrass the dev, and I didn't send a private message to the author because being aware of nuances in the code and data is a shared value that all the devs on the team should have. So it's a nice coaching opportunity for the dev team, nobody was thrown under the bus, and most importantly, I didn't say something like, I fixed this bug or I found this issue. Those claims will be obvious when I move the ticket to the QA column in our issue tracker. Ultimately, I think what really matters here is that you're balanced and honest. So if you're going to take credit when you succeed, then you must also take accountability when you fail. I personally prefer to help others succeed so we can succeed as a team and fail as a team. As long as we're growing and staying humble, then our relationships and careers will blossom. That said, that's why I'm making this course, to help you grow and succeed. So please, when you fail hard and learn from a big mistake, let us know on the Facebook group so we can also learn from it too. And when you get your pay raises and promotions, let us know in the Facebook group so we can all celebrate together. That wraps up this module. Keep growing, and I'll see you in the next one.